Welcome to our mini-series on plastic repair. We're going to take a look at a bumper with some minor collision damage on it, take you through the process of repairing that. So the first step in the repair is to remove it from the vehicle. In this case, just kind of saves room, saves inventory. And I've already washed this part. That's kind of how it looks. You can see the damage. Looks like something scraped, kind of sharp, scraped across it. So we're gonna have to repair inside where the fog light is and on the front of the cover as well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna wash the area with a water-based prep cleaner. I'm not gonna do the whole bumper because we're just gonna repair it in this area. We're eventually gonna blend the finish so everything looks real nice, but I'm gonna focus just on this area. This is to get all the grease and tar and bugs and everything else that you didn't get just by washing the cover. You could do this repair on the vehicle if you wanted. There is an accessory on the side of the bumper that's obviously been removed. So what I'm looking at is the scratch is pretty deep here. It is into the plastic. So I'm looking at, I'm gonna have to fill that. You can see it's not cracked, so it actually makes our repair quite a bit easier. So what I'm gonna do in the next step, after I've cleaned this bumper, is I'm gonna grind this out with a 36 grit disc so that I have some room to put the glue. I'm going to fill this with glue. That's a 3M product that's designed for the front side of flexible parts. I have a 2-inch roll-lock grinding disc, and what I want to do is feather this. I'm going to probably start with this guy here because it's a pretty good size. You'll probably see it a little bit better on the camera. But I'm going to try to make a 45-degree little trough to put the glue. And I don't want to grind through the plastic. That's going to make my repair more work for me. But I want to probably go 1/8 of an inch past the repair area. So I'm going to feather this out with the grinder quite a bit. We want to get all the raised edges and things off of it. We're not going real deep. We're just going deep enough to get the contaminants and torn plastic out of the repair area. You got to be careful not to melt the plastic. What we're going to do now is feather out this repair area with a piece of 150 on a sander. We're going to feather edge the raw plastic into the paint. Again, I'm trying to keep the repair area fairly small. Probably should do this with a smaller sander, but I'm going to prep this whole area for a blend anyway. So it's not that big of a deal that we're getting a little wide in the repair area. What I'm looking for is that I don't have any paint in the repair area, so when I put the adhesion promoter on, that it's able to bond with the bare plastic. So it's looking pretty good here. I might touch it up with a little piece of sandpaper. Okay, so I went ahead and masked off this bumper. These are the two products we're going to use. This is a 3M adhesion promoter for the 5887 front side reflexible part repair that we're going to use on this bumper cover. And what this does is allows the adhesive to bond to the plastic a little bit better. So I covered the bumper so I don't get overspray on the grill or anything like that. So what we're going to do just needs a light coat on the raw plastic. And then we let that flash for about 10 minutes. Okay, while we're waiting for the 5907 adhesion promoter to cure out, it's got a few minutes left on that. We're going to go ahead and load up this Easy Sand 5887. Takes these special nozzles. Special gun. And then what I do is, you can probably hopefully see that on the camera, it's mixing in the nozzle. And I'm going to throw away the first little bit that comes out. So I just put that on the back of a piece of sandpaper, folds up, and it's pretty much ready to use. I keep a rag with it, it likes to ooze a little bit, and then we're going to apply this to our repair area. We don't want to put too much in. No, it looks like a lot, but we're actually going to take, because of the size of this repair, I'm going to take a razor blade and level it. You might have to do this a few times, it is sandable. I like to let it sit for a few minutes before I play with it too much. It's got about 5 minutes to work with it. And go ahead and start tooling it. Bringing it out into the feather edge area. We don't have to obsess with getting it just perfect, but we want to make sure there's enough fill that there's actually going to be something we can sand. So we don't want it too perfect. Do this little guy down here, making sure to cover a plastic. Any place I sand it is probably going to be low. Okay, again, it doesn't have to look super perfect because we're going to sand it. Stuff actually sands really easy once it dries. If you try to sand it too early, it just gums up your paper. Okay, so I've let this set up and dry for about a half hour. I'm just going to do some preliminary sanding on a soft block with 150. Just kind of see what we have for this repair. I like to do this step by hand. I feel like I have more control. A lot of technicians will probably do this step with a palm sander. Just gonna sand until this repair feather edges in real nice. This is feather edging. I'm a little bit low here, so I'm going to quit and start doing the inside of this spot here. You'll know you're done when you can't really feel your repair. This is actually really good right here. It's feathering in to the existing base and clear. I'm a little low here. I'll fill in these with another coat of 5887 and I'll finish sanding this. I'll do the same over here. So this kind of gives you a general idea of what you're looking for. Okay, that's feathering out. Just a little low spot there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get some water-based cleaner. I'm going to spray it and just kind of look at the reflection in the ceiling light. And I can see I'm a little high here. This actually looks pretty good. It's a little bit low there. The inside of the repair is looking really good. It's got a low spot right there. So I'm gonna fix those. Finish sanding my highs first. I'll let this dry. Give it another coat. If I expose bare plastic, I do need to put more adhesion promoter on, so I have not done that, so I should be okay. Okay, I've removed the masking tape so I can get a good view of the repair area, and I have sprayed this with wax and grease remover. Kind of looked at the shine, everything looks really nice. So I'm thinking this repair is ready for primer, but I don't want to prime just this area. I want to be able to feather edge the primer out further into the bumper cover, so just gives you a better feather edge. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to prep this area with probably a 320 grit sandpaper, and then while I'm at it, just because the bumper is going to be all dirty, I'll probably sand the rest of the bumper with 500, since I won't be priming the entire bumper. But that way, if some primer overspray did get onto the rest of the bumper cover, it's not unsanded, clear, and that it might peel later on. So I'm thinking this area is pretty close to being finished up at this point in time. So as I was putting the video together, I realized I had left an entire part out, kind of the part between when I sanded the bumper and when I primed the entire thing. So originally the plan on this was to just do a spot repair, and then I got to looking at it and realized while I'm prepping the entire bumper anyway, it's probably worth taking the extra hour or two, in my opinion, to fix all the rock chips in it. So when I did that, you always get a sand through or more, and I already had the stuff out, so I just decided to go ahead and get all the rock chips out of the bumper, and then do a really nice job with the primer and with the sander. So in the rest of this video, you're actually going to see the entire cover being painted, and that's or primered rather. It's probably not super feasible in a collision type of setting when you're not getting paid for that type of a repair. But in this case, that's the type of repair that myself and the customer wanted. So anyway, stay tuned for blocking out the primer. Probably just use a DA sander on that, since the entire bumper doesn't really have a lot of flat spots on it. And we'll do that in time lapse. Okay, where we're at right now is I spent several days here just kind of off and on, and probably about 5-6 hours total. And I got all the rock chips out of this bumper, and the repair area looks great. I'll give you a tour on that. And then I primed it and blocked the primer out, all that good stuff, and I have it up at 500 grit for my sandpaper right now. And so at this point, I'm going to mask it off one last time. And then we'll take it in the booth and paint it, and we'll clear it, and we'll give it back to the customer.